is Brian Neese, and this is my presentation on how the time we spend on social media affects our own personal self-image. The independent variable is the time spent on social media. Participants were asked to check their screen time app on their phone, and social media was defined as YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Discord, or any social media app or any app that contains short video feeds of 1 minute or less. The dependent variable is the participant's self-image. Participants were asked a direct question as to how they would rate their own self-image on a linear scale of 1 to 10. And my hypothesis is people who use less than 2 hours per day of social media have a higher self-image than people who use more than 2 hours per day of social media. I had 25 participants who were recruited by people that I have known throughout my lifetime, so it's a little bias in there. 17 male, 8 female, ethnicity, mostly Asian. The age range was pretty all over the place, same thing with income, and education level was pretty good. Bachelors had the most, 10 bachelor degrees. The survey consisted of 23 questions. 11 questions were on a linear scale, ranging from 1 to 10, 4 open-ended questions and 8 closed-ended questions. The important questions that were closed-ended were on a linear scale, rate your own personal self-image 1 to 10, and how many hours per day in the last month did you use social media. Other significant questions were how desirable of a mate do you believe that you are? What do you believe makes a positive or negative self-image? And then these last 3 questions were at the end of the survey. Do you feel positive or negative after using social media? How has social media made your life better or worse? And what do you believe makes a positive or negative self-image? The results, 57.6% of the participants used 2 hours or less per day of social media. Their mean was 7.33, and the median was 8, mode was 7. And the 42.4% who used more than 2 hours a day of social media, their self-image, their mean was 6.8, which is lower than the 7.33, and the median self-image was 7, instead of the people who use less than 2 hours a day, their median self-image was 8, the mode was 7, which was equal. So it shows that there is something to the usage of social media and your self-image. So these are just some of the graphs that we had. Overwhelmingly, 50% of the people felt negative after using social media. And a lot of people used, 26.9% used more than 2 hours per day. Actually, technically even more than that, but people were using a lot of social media. Strength of the survey, I feel like on the questions of the survey, I tried to keep them positive because I didn't want people thinking negatively regarding anything. So I tried to keep their spirits up by the questions being on a positive note. So I wanted to kind of keep social media out of the survey until the very, very end, because people already have a negative connotation towards social media. So this was trying to basically just disprove my hypothesis. So I made the question regarding how much time is spent on social media the very last question, because I just didn't want people knowing even the survey was regarding social media. So strengths and limitations, the weaknesses and limitations. Sample size is probably not the best sample size. I think there were too many questions as well. Some of them didn't even really pertain to the actual hypothesis and may have put people in a different frame of mind. And I think my linear scale was too large. I think it could have been 1 to 5, or maybe a Likert scale of high, medium, or low. One of the interesting things I found in the study is that I asked a question of how easily it is for you to forgive people. And people who had a hard time forgiving people had the lowest self-image of all. So holding on to like anger and resentment can cause unhappiness and ultimately maybe a lower self-esteem. I found that very interesting on this study. I'd like to do another study on that. So I think there certainly is something to how time spent on social media does affect us. And I mean, especially like when we're scrolling through feeds or just looking at short videos, it's kind of mind-numbing and just, I don't believe, healthy for us. So, but this is being studied rapidly and should continue to do so. So thank you.